We're delighted that you're here with us this afternoon. And we have a very special guest at Cheyney University today, and we want to make him feel welcome. You know, sometimes there are people who receive long introductions but don't deserve them. Well, I could give a long introduction, but our guest this afternoon doesn't need one. He's richly deserving, one of our nation's foremost leaders. Join me in welcoming to Cheyney University the Reverend Jessie Jackson. So I am somebody. I am somebody. Respect me. Protect me. Never neglect me. I am somebody. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything in the world if my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it. I know I can achieve it. I will register and vote. My vote will make a difference. I will register and vote. My vote will make a difference. Hands the worst pick cotton, the now pick governors and presidents. I am somebody. Down the vote, open hope. Down the vote, open hope. Keep hope alive. Cheyney, number one. Let me express my thanks to you, Mr. President, the faculty members, members of this student body, the friends from the area. Earlier today, we were at Strawberry Mansion High in Philadelphia, in the heart of the city, and then Springfield High in the suburbs, and then the Women's College in the hills. Now here with you at Cheyney University, on to Harper College in New York. As we traverse this nation to empower the people, we might have the power to change priorities and heal and rebuild the country. The stakes are high in this year's campaign. For much of the focus is on who will be the president, and that has great meaning. The fact is, our strength is bottom up, not top down. This year, because of reapportionment, there'll be 3 new African American congresspeople from Florida, 2 from North Carolina, 1 from Virginia, 1 more from Maryland, 1 from South Carolina, from Texas, from Louisiana. We could very well have 20 new African American and Latino congresspeople by November 4th of this year. Sanctions on South Africa did not come from the White House. They came essentially from the moral authority of the Congressional Black Caucus. Having 40 African American congresspeople in coalition with Latinos and progressive whites and women, could in fact shift power fundamentally in the U.S. Congress, and that's bottom up. The stakes are high. Our reasons for engagement are many. For disengagement are almost none. Now looking at your faces, I think about progress that we made in 29 years. Someone made the case, well, progress? Many of you have seen excerpts of Dr. King's speech in Washington, August 28, 1963. You heard him say, "I have a dream." The media in some way has reduced the substance of that speech to poetry, almost to romance. The statement out of context does not convey the power of the speech of the times in which we live. A text out of context is a pretext. What was the context of that speech 29 years ago? Every sign is up in South Africa today. Every pillar of apartheid that's in South Africa today that was in Southern America in 1963 when that speech was given. The day he gave that speech, and those of us who had come to Washington from the South, from Texas around up through Virginia, we could not use a single public bathroom. In a hotel, a motel, a library, a roadside inn. On that day, we had to relieve our bodies behind trees or cars, stripped of public dignity, unprotected by law. In that context, he was dreaming of a brighter day. We could not use a single Holiday Inn, Howard Johnson, could not use a single Hilton from Texas around up through Virginia on that day. The laws of apartheid abounded. I was jailed July 17, 1960, trying to use a library. Jailed in 63, trying to use public facilities. We didn't have the right to vote. That for which Mandela spent 27 years in jail trying to get and does not yet have. Our ambitions were low, but our rhetoric was high. We want freedom. Freedom meant the right to use the public facility of our choice as did other people, protected by law. 29 years later, the struggle continues, but the weapons we have to fight with are more substantial. There was a period of unprecedented economic growth. Today we're in a prolonged economic recession. During periods of economic growth, there's a greater spirit of generosity than when there was economic fear abounding. What's the difference 29 years later? We have equal protection by law, our access to public facilities, the humiliating signs of apartheid are down. We literally take them for granted. It was not always so just 29 years ago. Today we have the right to vote. Hands that pick cotton can indeed now pick Congress people and mayors and governors and presidents. We cannot let anyone use cynicism as a tool of cynicism to break our spirits, control our minds, make us retreat from the pursuit of power that we might change America's priorities. We have power. 12.5 million registered African Americans. We have power. In some sense, the problem is unused power. 8.5 million unregistered African Americans. New York City, David Lincoln won by 47,000 votes. There are 905,000 blacks unregistered in New York State, 500,000 in New York City. Unused power. Governor Wilder won the governorship of Virginia by 5,000 votes. 200,000 African Americans unregistered. Harvey Gantt lost the senator's race in North Carolina by 57,000 votes. 200,000 African Americans unregistered. In Georgia, 600,000 unregistered. Bush won Pennsylvania by 105,000 votes. In Pennsylvania, 350,000 African Americans unregistered. Nobody has earned the right to do less than their best. When we do our best, we have power. In 1986, Reagan, Bush were thought to be a sense to maintain their stronghold in the Senate. They did not count the 2 million new voters the Rainbow put on the rolls in 1984 and 85. And thus in the South, Sanford, 41% of his vote was white, 59% was black. In Georgia, Fowler 36% white, 64% black. In Alabama and Louisiana, Heflin, Shelby, and Breaux 38% white, 62% black. Literally, white minority senators. Surely, as we mature, no one would have 60 to 65% shares in a bank and not be chairman of the board. We must only vote for senators. We must run for Senate and run for governor and run for president and change the course of the country. We must exercise our right to vote, but not just vote to exercise. Use that power to build coalition and to change the course. Today, pain abounds in our country. That's why there's so much unease, so much dis-ease. The basis for the relative strength of the Clinton-Gore ticket is not tactics and strategies. It's the objective economic conditions. America's in pain. Many people like Bush but can't afford him. He costs too much. Incompetence is expensive. They like Dan Quayle. He can't make money. He can't spell potato. They just can't afford him. Pain in the country. 10 million Americans unemployed. 1 of every 10 on food stamps. 40 million without health insurance. 40 million in poverty. Lest we forget, the 40 million in poverty, 29 million are white. Unlike the media image, the poor are mostly white, female, and young. Whether white, black, or brown, hunger hurts. Most poor people are not black. Most black people are not poor. Poverty is about economic deprivation. The issue is not welfare or workfare. The issue is reindustrialization. It's rebuild America. 10 million Americans are without jobs because plants are closing and jobs are leaving while drugs and guns are coming. In these last 10 years, we've lost 800,000 family farmers, 3 million manufacturing jobs. Those jobs did not go to affirmative action. They didn't go from white to black, from male to female. They went from here to yonder. Zenith used to make appliances in Chicago. They now make them in Mexico. You wear your Reebok and your Nike and your LA Gear tennis shoes, all made in Taiwan and South Korea. But don't get angry at Mexicans and Taiwanese and South Koreans. They didn't take jobs from us. American corporations took jobs to them, not for better labor, but for cheaper labor. Cheap labor abroad, profits up, prices up, wages down, workers busted. We must change the course. We can play ball on Sunday afternoon together and run track in the Olympics together. We can rebuild America and have a job and education and health care together. It's time to change the course. There is this burden to rebuild America, to put America back to work. A new agenda. D.C. statehood. Expand our democracy. Raise minimum wage for working people. Most poor people are not on welfare. They work every day. You may not see them. They are our mothers and fathers. They catch the early bus. They work every day. They drive cabs. They used to make cars. They work every day. They sharecrop. They used to own their farms. They work every day. They can't buy bread cheaper. They can't buy milk cheaper. They cannot get tuition cheaper. They work every day. They work in these fast food restaurants, flipping hamburgers. They work every day. Sometimes surrounded by grief, but no health insurance. They work every day. They change beds in hotels. They are mamas and daddies, uncles and aunts. They're others in the hospitals. They wipe our bodies down when we're sick with fever. They empty slop jars and bedpans. Sometimes wearing rods in their stockings that you might have on matching socks, trying to spare you the pain that you might get an education. And yet when they get sick, they cannot afford to lie in the bed they make up every day because they don't have health insurance. It's time to change the course. The power, the vote must not be underestimated. We say power by any means necessary. Put that on the agenda. I was speaking to a group of youth in Los Angeles during the riot. On the Saturday morning, the fires were still burning. And 5,000 gathered in front of KJLH radio station. I said, in light of what happened to Rodney King, we should vote with a passion. Some students say, to hell with that, system don't work. I said, would you like to have been a juror on the Rodney King case so you could have hung the jury? He said, yeah. Only registered voters serve on juries. He said, oh. Are you upset that the judge shifted the case from LA to Simi Valley? Yeah. Voters elect judges also. There's power in that vote. We paid big dues for the right to vote. Jimmy Lee Jackson, 15-year-old African-American youth, shot and killed in cold blood about the right to vote. Toronto Goodman and Cheyney, 2 Jews and a black, scraped and bulldozed to death with their eyes wide open about the right to vote. Well, Luizzo, a white mother from Detroit, came south to help us. They called her nigger lover and blew her brains out point-blank range. About the right to vote. Reverend James Reed, white minister from Boston, came to help us, and they bludgeoned him to death. 4 darling little girls wound up in a church in Birmingham, Alabama one Sunday morning about the right to vote. Mandela stayed in jail 27 years, declaring the right to vote to be a revolutionary right. About the right to vote. If Jimmy Jackson could die and Meg Evers in Mississippi could die about the right to vote, if youth in China can face tanks in Tiananmen Square about the right to vote, if Mandela can stay in jail 27 years for the right to vote, you at Cheyney who want More aid and less loans must up and fight for the right to vote. Everybody in this room is in the system. Don't get trapped in abstract detachment. You're in it. Questions are you going to make judgment upon it and affect it? You're in it. 2 years ago, my wife and I had our last child, and we thought we convinced ourselves it was going to be a boy. Bought a lot of blue stuff. It was a girl. Had to buy pink stuff. First day, what you going to name the baby? We'll get back to you. Second day, what you going to name the baby? We'll get back to you. Third day, we decided to name the baby after mother, Jackie. Said, no, you have to go downtown and put your baby's name beside the number. Your baby's already in the system. 10 years ago, my father died. And through all of the misery and hurt and ache and pain from the loss and the suddenness of the loss, funeral director eased up and said, but now you got to sign this death certificate. From womb to tomb, you're in the system. Whether tuition goes up or down at Cheyney is a political decision. Whether you have more scholarships and more aid or more loans is a political decision. Whether you get more billings or Penn State gets more is a political decision. The pay of teachers, a political decision. A health care plan, a political decision. Whether Haitians get in or out the country is a political decision. Whether Somalians get fed or not, and Bosnians, a political decision. Whether we embrace South Africa or reject South Africa, a political decision. You must use your power to change political priorities. You have the power, you must have the consciousness. I repeat, in Pennsylvania last year, 88 rather, Bush won this state by 105,000 votes. The same man that vetoed civil rights bills, the same man that assigned Judge Thomas to the court and tried to impose him upon you as a leader, won this state by fewer votes than there are unregistered blacks in the state of Pennsylvania. Nobody has earned the right to do less than their best. And so I say, young America, come alive. Young America, come alive. To fight the drugs, come alive. To rebuild America, come alive. You look at this economic crisis, don't you sit back thinking somebody else over at Penn State or Harvard going to solve it. So much of the soul of America has come from Cheyney and A&T and Harvard and Morehouse. Don't sit back waiting, looking. It's you. You got the power. The answer's in your mind. It's in your consciousness. It's in your will to pursue your academics diligently. You can take over an airplane on soul. You got to get it off the ground on aeronautical science. You can't fly it on soul. You fly it on science. You can take over a building on soul and guts. You can only build one on science and engineering. You can cut somebody on soul and passion and madness. You heal them on medical science. We must see reading, writing, counting, thinking as our ultimate burden and right in the time of slavery. If the slave master raped a slave mistress and impregnated her, that was not illegal. If he beat the man, it was not illegal. Cruel, but not illegal. If he was caught teaching either to read or write, that was illegal. Because there's always a correlation between freedom and exploding minds with strong ideas. And the ideas and the minds of those who are sober, sane, sensitive, and determined. This race does not go to the swift, nor to the strong, but those who endure, those who fight back, those who never surrender. And so I say, Cheyney, it's stand-up time. It's time to change the course. Bush and Quayle don't like public housing, trying to privatize them. And that's why I always knew I could adjust to the White House, because I grew up in public housing, and the White House is public housing. I could adjust. They can't. A lot of y'all need different kind of motivation. For some of you, your motivation is Malcolm X, or it's Dr. King, some other leader. I must admit, it's public, but I just have to admit that my motivation really is Dan Quayle. Now, I know it's negative motivation, but it grows out of my background. I was a child, a lot of parents who read Dr. Spock and all that, they do what they call positive reinforcement. And my mama didn't read Dr. Spock, so she used things like, if you don't do better, I'm going to kill you. Bang the bad grades, you can't sit up under my table. It's always that negative thing, so I kind of learned to kind of move off of negative motivation. I think about Dan Quayle, it always kind of inspired me, because whenever they say something about we ain't qualified, think about Dan Quayle. And they get on you sometimes because you can't spell. Think about Dan Quayle. Matter of fact, say OT. AT, OP. So I'm a genius. I just spelled potato backwards. Dan Quayle is my motivation. Because I used to get upset because I was able to go to the private choice schools. He went to private schools, choice schools, tutored in school, born to wealthy parents. My motivation is Dan Quayle. Matter of fact, boys down in Mississippi had a thing going where they wanted to redeem Dan Quayle, let him redeem himself. So they had this fill-in-the-blank spelling contest. Dan Quayle jumped in the contest to redeem himself. No figure since Negroes were given the test, it wouldn't be so hard to handle in the first place. So he jumped in the contest. Mary had a little what? He said, lamb. She had an A on that, Brother Dan. Jack and Jill went up to what? He said, heel. He said, don't ask me any more dumb questions. I'm an intelligent man with the private schools, choice schools, vice president. They said, well, Dan, just answer one more. He said, you got it. So old MacDonald had a what? He said, Tom. They said, spell for him. He said, E-I-E-I-O. We understand. We understand. If Dan Quayle can be vice president, you can do anything you want to do, be anything you want to be, go anywhere you want to go. Cheyney, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep. Let me ask y'all to do one thing. Can somebody move this for me, this water bucket? Can somebody move this? The water bucket. Yeah, don't move. Bear with me for a minute. Because, Cheyney, we're doing this across the country. I want, when the news comes about you in Philadelphia tonight, I want the best of your story told. If you're sitting here today and you're not a registered voter, I wish I could stay longer, but I got to catch a train to get to Hunter. But I had to come to Cheyney. Had to be with you. Had to be with you. If you're sitting here today and you are not a registered voter, either because your name has changed or because you have not registered before, or say, I go to Cheyney, I'm from New York, I'm from Chicago, you should vote where you live. And you live wherever you stayed the last 2 or 3 nights in a row. That's where you live. You know you're not going up to New York just to vote. You should vote where you live. You may never go back up there again. Your parents live up there. Matter of fact, if you think I'm lying, you go back home before semester break and find out how unwelcome you are. Like what you doing back here? I mean, your bedroom ain't nothing but a souvenir. You don't live there. You live here now. Say amen. Say amen now. Well, you have been gracefully put out of your house after you are a Cheyney person now. If you're sitting here, this is important, y'all. It's very important. How many students at this school? How many students at Cheyney? 1,500? You should not have any voluntary slaves on campus. Involuntary slavery is illegal, where you, against your will, put you in slavery, take away your right to self-determination. But if you volunteer for slavery, that's not illegal, but it is ridiculous. I would not have such a person with chains on their minds as my roommate. Some great philosopher said that if your mind gets freed, your gluteal muscles will not be far behind. Laugh tomorrow when you catch up. On the for real side, if you're sitting here right now and you are not a registered voter, stand, be fair, stand. You are not registered to vote. You cannot vote Bush out this year if you are not registered. If you're sitting here now and you are not registered, please stand, be fair, stand wherever you are. And come on down front in big numbers. Come on down. Come on down. 18 or older, come on down. Come right on down. Don't be ashamed, be grateful. You don't have to march to Selma, come on down. Come right on down. You don't have to go to Cisco, you can march right down now. Come on down now. Register to vote. Come right on down. The mic. Come right on down. Be fair with me. Omegas, Alphas, Kappas, Sigmas, don't be barking. Come on down here, man. Thank you. Deltas, AKs, Zetas, y'all come on down here. If you're not registered. Now, if you are registered, raise your right hand to heaven. If you're registered. If you're registered, raise your right hand. Get up. And come on down right now. Don't be sitting there ashamed. Come right on down. Don't be sitting there lying. Come on down here. Put your hand back up again. Say, I declare I am a registered voter. If I'm lying, when I take my exam, let me forget every answer. I got some more. You better get up now. You better come on down here now. But I can't get you by reason. I get you by super. Cutting the power out down here. Come right on down. When we start getting registered, they start playing game with the power. Come on down. They pass out these applications. I want y'all to register and vote right now. Register right now. Right now. Get them right now. Come on, Cheyney. Don't let me down, Cheyney. Come right on down. Come right on down, Cheyney. Oh, Mega Man. Look up in here, doctor. What y'all got something y'all giving up? Yeah, eat your heart out. Thank you, my brother. In the meantime, are you registered, homeboy? Don't be calling me brother unregistered. Yep. But y'all, you see them cameras taking pictures of y'all tonight? That's very different than taking pictures of us in them stretchers and them blue lights on them drugs. That's the real deal here, you know. This is the real deal. Give them a big hand. Let them tell that. Yeah, put this on TV. Run and tell that, right? That's where y'all at. Run and tell that. What them t-shirts they got, the Rebuild America t-shirts, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Where is Mr. Youssef at? That's right. When say X is not talking about Malcolm. Now don't get confused that with the movie. This one, yes, sir. We must march on road purging. They must not be allowed to purge us from the road. It doesn't make sense to register one day and get purged the next. To get all this information to Sister Emma Chappelle, we shall challenge in the streets and the courts. We shall break up the purging process. We support you in that suit in Philadelphia on Thursday. Get back on the road. Not that. Where is Youssef? Where are those who have the other t-shirts? Where are they? Put them up right now. Bill Keys. Youssef. Huh? This will not take long. Mr. President, thank you so much for we really appreciate this. Youssef, y'all, this is my son, Youssef DuBois. You don't do that. For those who register and vote, we're going to give you a t-shirt. Wait. Act like y'all from Cheyney. Be real simple, homie. Wait. Well, we need a better. Wait. Mr. President, love you, Cheyney. But they got a few more. We'll get some more back to you. It's called Keep Hope Alive and Vote. Oh, yeah. Excuse me, please. Pardon me, please. My brother has. God bless you. We are in the process of okay. They're trying to move the polling places from Lincoln to another location, and that's the letter that you have in there. Let's do that one, okay?
going to register and you're going to vote for the candidate of your choice. I hope that Jessie Jackson will come back and be with us as often as possible. Reverend Jackson is always welcome at Cheyney University. Thanks again for coming.